Hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Madelyn Begley, and I grew up in the synagogue. I spent my whole life going to Temple Bethany. I went to Albert Einstein. I went to Valencia High School. I grew up here in Santa Clarita, and I went to UC Santa Barbara for my undergrad. And while I was there, I got involved in Hillel and Chabad on my campus. And I decided to take that one step further, and I took a gap year in Israel. I decided I was going to go teach English in a city called Beersheba. That's where I met my friend Zohar, who's right here. I moved to a city that is the largest big city in southern Israel, about 20 miles from Gaza. It's the largest big city near Gaza. And I moved to a city that has people from every walk of life. You have Ukrainians, you have Ethiopians, you have Yemens, you have Moroccans, you have Bedouins. It's a mix, truly a mixed city. And I moved here to teach English. I started, if you know me, I have no Israeli family. Just like a regular girl from Santa Clarita, don't speak Hebrew, anything like that. And so it was difficult. My friends can attest, I still don't speak Hebrew, like at all. Like zero. Ani lo yadati ivrit, don't speak Hebrew. And it was hard in the beginning. I couldn't go to the grocery store, couldn't figure out which was laundry detergent, what was what, and it took some time. And then I remember I went to the holidays with their family. My friend Zohar's family adopted me, the Amitais, and a couple other kids from my program who were also teaching English from Canada and the US. And they brought me in. And I remember talking to Zohar on Simchat Torah on October 6th in the sukkah as we were leaving. And I know we live in the South, and I keep hearing about rockets, but Santa Clarita, you don't have rockets. We have fires, we have earthquakes. We do not have rockets. And I asked her, well, do schools close? Again, I'm a teacher, right? Like, I don't know. And she explained to me, well, Beersheba is very safe. Like, don't talk about it. Like, Beersheba is safe. Don't worry. So Israelis have a concept with rockets that it's how we in LA think of earthquakes and fires. Back of your head, but you don't focus on them. Just as you do as the Israelis do. Follow them. So I went to bed on October 6th, feeling pretty calm about everything. And I woke up at 6:29 a.m., to a sound I'd never heard before. I heard air raid sirens. I couldn't figure out what it was. I turned over and looked at my phone, and in Israel, there's apps that tell you if there's rockets and missiles, drones in your vicinity. And I had never heard that before. I couldn't figure it out. And I put it together with the noise and all these notifications on my phone, and I woke my roommate up. Daniela, she's hard of hearing. And so I got her up with one word. I just yelled, rockets. Shoved her, got her up, and we ran to what is called mamad, which in most buildings in Israel, they have bomb shelters. It's a concrete reinforced room. And living in the South, we had one in my apartment building, in my specific apartment. We have about 45 seconds to get really inside the shelter, close it, lock it, all the things. Well, that did not happen in like really fast time because again, we weren't expecting this. I've been here 6 weeks at this point. And so that was really hard figuring all that out. Again, I don't speak Hebrew. I can't watch the news. Zohar's calling me, telling me everything's okay. Like, just relax. Like, just hang out in your shelter. Like, it'll be okay. And then it didn't stop. I called my parents, telling them what Zohar and her family are saying. Like, it's okay. And then I get a phone call from her, and she's telling me she's getting called up to go to the army. I'm starting to see videos of what's happening in a city called Sderot, which is like a city right next to Gaza, in the Gaza envelope. And at the time, my roommate Julie is sitting in Sderot in a building, and she's hearing horrible things. People are getting pulled out of buildings. You've seen the videos. We're starting to see them on our phone. And now we know there's terrorists in the country. And again, I'm a half hour from Gaza, like relatively pretty close, and we know they're coming for us. We feel it, we hear it. So again, I'm by myself, I'm on a program. I can't get a hold of my boss. They're all on vacation. It's like vacation break. And so people start telling us barricade our apartment. We take our little IKEA couch and barricade our apartment door, go back inside a ramad, and all we have is a kitchen knife and a fire extinguisher. That's what we have. That's what we were gonna protect ourselves with if it came to it. Thank goodness it didn't. Then I'm starting getting phone calls from my friends like Zohar, Adi, other Israelis saying they have to go fight. Kids my age, who are 22, 23, 24, had to leave their families. I'm sitting by myself in an apartment, still not know what's going on, but know I'm safe, and they're leaving to go fight. This goes on for a few days. About October 9th, my roommate Julie comes back. We spend the night on October 7th, sleeping in our shelter, not really leaving. October 9th, my best friend Julie comes back from Sderot after they got control of the city. She comes back. My dad, just like a normal dad from Santa Clarita, gets on a flight, decides, I'm done, calls me, I'm coming to get you, you're coming home, I'm getting your roommates. That was it. He flew from LAX to Heathrow, London, not knowing if the flight to Ben Gurion, Tel Aviv airport was going to go through. He gets to Tel Aviv, and the rockets are at the airport, not stopping. And again, we live in Santa Clarita. He doesn't know what to do if he's driving and there's an air raid siren. So if you know me, I'm not a calm person, like zero calmness, like at all. That was the calmest I've ever been in my whole life, was calling my dad and explaining what to do. Because now I feel like somehow I have knowledge about what's going on. I've lived 4 days in a war. Somehow I'm knowledgeable. Yeah. So I'm calling my dad, and I'm very clearly telling him, if you hear the air raid siren, just do what the Israelis do, but pull your car off to the side of the road and lay down, hands over your head, and sit there. And he told me, he's like, no, like, I'm focused. I'm driving in a war zone. Like, leave me alone. Stop calling. I'm like, okay. And then 2 minutes later, he needed that information. And I know he's not far. My rocket sirens are going off. I start breaking down crying in my shelter. My dad's by himself. He doesn't know where to go. He hasn't been in Israel in 6 years. And he finally gets to Beersheba. Zohar and her boyfriend are already fighting. So she's calling me and saying goodbye over FaceTime, not knowing if I'm going to see her again for however long, if I'm coming back, how long this is going to take. She's calling to say goodbye while she's in an army base in full uniform, helmet on. And it was just, it's real. That was the moment for me, like, truly, my friends are out there fighting. My dad helps organize my roommates and I get to the airport, and we spend the day in the Tel Aviv airport. We fly to Dubai, which was scary in and of itself, just like leaving the country, going somewhere else, landing in Dubai. Then we flew to LA, and I stayed in LA for about 3 months. I was working on doing campaigns for soldiers. Some of you have heard about this in the past. I raised about $10,000 worth of goods and cash to get sent for reservists and soldiers in Israel. So I collected medical supplies, I collected feminine products, t-shirts, underwear, anything my friends were calling me and say they needed. My friend Zohar, even in the army, she worked with reserves. So I asked her, what do people need? Tell me what you guys need. And I figured it out. I worked with private planes, and I got a couple of shipments sent. And then in late December, I made the relatively tough decision to go back. I moved back to Beersheba, continued to teach English, worked in my community, that was amazing, saw my friends, was involved in their lives, truly saw the Israeli spirit of coming alive. Israelis have a mindset that's very different than our own. You can't let them win. Like, if you don't live your life, you're not winning. So again, it's just this, there's such resilience in these people. I saw it every day, and I stayed for a long time. I was there till late July. I fed paratroopers, I worked with soldiers, made meals, I worked with displaced families, and I taught kids who in the South felt abandoned. I was a 3rd through 6th grade teacher working with primarily younger kids who didn't speak their best English. And I specifically remember the day I walked into my school. I have these little kids, and they see me, and they cheer, Maddie, you're back from America, you came back. Because it's the holidays. I left in the middle of the holiday season. They thought I abandoned them. They were so joyful that a girl from America came back to visit them. Then one of my kids asked me the hardest question of my entire life. Well, do you not love Israel anymore? Do you love Hamas? Do you love Palestine? Like, why'd you leave? And I had to explain to a group of 6th graders that no, I love Israel, it's why I'm here, but you know how your mom and dad wanted you home? My parents wanted me to go home. And it took a long time for them to gain their trust and truly be part of a community again. My biggest fear when leaving was that Israelis felt like I abandoned them. My friends who put on their uniforms, who went off to fight, felt abandoned, like I was going somewhere safe and they're going to fight. And then my little kids told me that very thing. Then I kept teaching throughout the year. I worked with something called Shuva Achim, which is a place that we help soldiers get 3,000 meals a day worth of food, items that they need. I'll go into it more detail later, but that was such a big impact to myself and my family. I'm Yisrael Chai, and thank you so much for having me speak. And this is my friend Zohar. She's all the way here from Beersheba after spending 250 days in the Israeli reserves.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. First of all, I'm really excited, so I'm sorry if I'm gonna tremble a little bit. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. For me, standing in a synagogue in a Jewish community in America is not something I take for granted at all. It's a very emotional moment for me. So, as Maddie said, my name is Zoran, and I'm here with Adi, my boyfriend and my partner. We both served in the IDF for 3 years as officers. I was doing reservist, and he was doing intelligence. We both did reserve for 250 days since October 7th. Sorry. My role in the Army is to recruit all the reservists to their units and make sure they're all safe and sound. It's not just a job for me, it's a mission. I represent the state of Israel, our home and the values that we, the Jewish people, are so proud of, values of brotherhood, responsibility, and the sacrifice for our homeland. October 7th, was a defining moment for all of us. It was a day when Israel faced a harsh and unexpected attack. I remember those first few moments, the feeling of concern, but also the overwhelming sense of responsibility that grew within me and my fellow soldiers. We knew we weren't just protecting borders, but every family, every child, every citizen in Israel. I still remember the fear I felt when I thought Hamas would come to my home in Beersheba, or the horrible videos that I saw from the 7th that I still try to erase from my mind of the girls my age getting abducted or abused. But despite all the pain and the difficulty of that day and the days that followed, I witnessed the Jewish people come together, soldiers, civilians, everyone just united. It reminded me how strong we are, and not just physically, but emotionally. It's a strength that exists not only in Israel, but also here in America, among Jewish communities. The bond between Jews in Israel and the Jews in America is deep and incredibly meaningful. During my service, I felt your support, whether through care packages sent to soldiers, donation prayers, or even just words of encouragement. We felt everything. Every act of support is like a hand on our shoulder, giving us the strength to continue protecting our country. This connection between Jews in the diaspora and Israel is like a thin, invisible thread, but it's incredibly strong. We feel that our mission in the Army is not only to defend Israel, but also to maintain this bond between Jews all over the world. Together, we're not just one people, we're one family. I want to end with a message of hope. Despite all the challenges, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. Thank you for your ongoing support. I'm emotional. Thank you for your ongoing support. We can continue to stand strong together against any challenges. Thanks again for the opportunity to share our story, and a special thanks for the Begleys to hosting us and for everything your community has done and keep doing for Israel and the Jewish people. And I just want to say that I pray that the hostages would come back soon. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
So what we're doing as a community here in Santa Clarita, we're working with a friend of mine named Dror, and he's developed a rest stop for soldiers called Shuva Achim, Shuva Brothers. And Shuva means return. It's for the return of my brothers. It's for soldiers who are coming in and out of Gaza every single day. They collect items like medical supplies, clothing, food, amazing things that help soldiers really, I don't want to say thrive and survive, but function in a state of unrest. They started with one table, and now they've gone to a full-blown rest stop. It's open 24/7. They work with about 3,000 to 4,000 soldiers every single day, and we're going to hear from a really good friend of mine, Dror, right now. We're going to look right up here when it loads.
It became a whole refreshment stop for soldiers. Okay, a place where they could just come and hang out for a little bit, or come have their lunch or dinner. Right now we're at the end of the fast, so people came to have to open the fast here. Shalom, shalom, Bukhari. Shuva, 24 hours, everything for the soldiers. That's the store that we have. That's the hot plate. Volunteers from all over the world coming to help us. I want to thank you guys from the Beth Temple. Thank you for all your donations. Thank you for all your help and all your support. We're doing 100% from our hearts. One of our guys, we're going to just came to have their dinner right now after the fast. It's incredible. Thank you for all the strength. And thank God for all the strength to be able to do it for a whole year. We love you. Wishing you a happy new year. Chag Sameach, Shana Tova. And hope to see each one of you guys here in Israel making Aliyah B'ezrat Hashem.
So we made it very easy for people to help out. The flyers in the back, the red flyer that says Shuva Achim, makes it real easy for you to register online. There's an Amazon registry for the soldiers that Maddie put together. And we're also collecting the supplies. We're collecting them today, but we're going to extend the collection for a couple of more weeks if you want to bring them next week. We hope to see all of you for Sukkot next Friday. And don't laugh. I want all of you to come for Sukkot. And you'll collect, you can bring those for the collection for Shuva. And we hope that those soldiers won't have to keep going into Gaza. I want to thank everyone for helping out. And I also want to, on this day of apologies, I want to apologize to Maddie and to all of our young people here because somehow the world that we have right now is not the way it should be. Some people came up to me after October 7th and said, you predicted this at Yom Kippur, in your words at Yom Kippur, when I talked about the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War and the lessons that we all need to learn from that. And I didn't predict anything. I just knew that the situation was going to continue. Israel is in Gaza right now so that Israelis don't have to suffer as they have for the last 17 years since Gaza was taken over by Hamas. And so that boys like Max can live out their lives in Israel. And tragically, since October 7th, Maddie and Zohar's friends, the young people of Israel, the members of the IDF, 750 of them, have been killed in the last year. So this Yizkor, which we're going to begin in a moment, we remember the Maxes and the Dimas and the Drors and the Edens. And we also mourn the losses of the Omars and the Mohammeds and the Aminas. And I blame Hamas for them as well, for their deaths. Hamas and the people that support them have decided that it's more important to kill Jews than to have peace, prosperity, and a life. This didn't have to happen. Billions and billions of dollars come in every year into Gaza. The metal tubing that could be used for irrigation is instead turned into rockets. And cement for hospitals and schools is turned into tunnels and bunkers. So we feel frustrated and we are angry. But we can do something. For my friends Stuart and Evie Steinberg, I can't even imagine the pain of losing a son. They'll carry with that pain throughout their lives. But they wanted to make sure that Max's life would have some meaning, so they started an organization to help lone soldiers. Paige, Max's sister, went to IDC in Herzliya and married an Israeli, and just a few months ago had a baby. And Jake, the middle brother, the one who celebrated bar mitzvah with his brother Max, graduated law school from UCLA about 9 years ago, and ever since has worked for AIPAC, helping to defend Israel here in our halls of government. He's an amazing young man. You've seen a lot of bad stuff, especially coming out of our colleges and with young people over the last year. But I wanted you to see today this. And as you know, I celebrated 25 years here at Beth Ami this summer. But the proudest moments I've had have been working with young people like this, like Max and Miles and Madelyn. And I have to do something for these kids, for all of our kids. And so let's do something together. This project of helping Shuvah came out of our Santa Clarita Jewish Action Committee, which Ariella helped start a few months ago. And our next meeting is the 22nd. This project for Shuvah Achim came out of that. And so that's what that organization, that's what that group is doing, to come up with solutions, with projects that we can do together. There's a lot to do, and this year may we be given the strength to do that, to bring some light into the darkness. This is our time, and this is our moment right now. And I wanted to call up, to remind us of that, our president, Randy Miller, if you'd come up.